Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sociology Analytica. This is Pooja Prasanna, your sociology faculty. So today I'm going to take up the last question on A.R. Desai. It is also a previous year question, that is, analyze A.R. Desai's view on India's path of development. So this is again a simple question, India's path of development. See, we won't be studying directly this particular thing, India's path of development. He has not directly mentioned how India should develop or anything to that matter. But then what he does is he actually talks that is, in a flow manner, he talks how India was before British, how India was during British, and how India changed after British. And also he tries to give a solution that, how a government should do or how the society should go forward in the society, okay, for the development. So this is a flow. What you have to do is you have to pick few points from different sections. This is how you will be studying in your whatever the material you study. So you have to pick the points from multiple different subheadings, and you have to put all the points in your particular this answer. So it's a 15 marker question, so that means you have to write around 200 words. Okay. So let's start with the answer. So you can start, you can actually write that A.R. Desai is a doctrinaire Marxist. That if you want to write, you can write. And also you can write about his, that book, the title of the book, that also you can write. But after that, you can jump into the question directly. You can start answering the question directly. Okay. So first and foremost thing is, what I would suggest you is for this particular question, go in a phased manner. First, write what was A.R. Desai's opinion pre-British time period. Okay, how did he see Indian society as pre-British time period? What were the changes which was brought during pre-British time period? Then go on with the post-British time period. Okay, or sorry, British time period. So during pre-British, he saw Indian villages as self-sufficient. That is, everyone understands self-sufficient, right? So I'm going to go next. So he felt Indian society self-sufficient, and there was a traditional right over land holding. So this is actually very much important. There was traditional right over land holding. What is traditional right over land holding? That is, irrespective of your caste, so you would be having some amount of land for you, for your family. For example, if you're Brahmin, you may have like 100 acres of land. If you're a Shudra, you may just have like, let's say 2 acres of land. But then this land will always be there in your family, and this land will pass on from one generation to the other generation. So this point you have to write. Okay, so he believed that there was a traditional right over the land. And then culture was what? Feudal culture. Feudal culture in Indian context, you can write either as zamindari culture, or there was also Jajmani system. See, both names you can write. You can simply write feudal, or you can write both zamindari system as well as Jajmani system. And society was economically low. Why it was economically low? Because villages were self-sufficient. They did not have to go outside for any material, for any resources. So more or less they were inward looking. They were very isolated as well as static. Okay, so it was stationary and socially rigid. What is socially rigid? Socially rigid means you cannot go for intercaste marriage, you cannot go for interdining. Okay, this is nothing but socially rigid. Just write this keyword, it is understood. You don't have to explain these keywords, because see, this question is not on these keywords. This question is on Desai's understanding of India's path of development. So please just maintain your answers just with keywords. Don't go further explaining the keyword. Then what he actually identifies is that he says whatever the changes which was happening in Indian society during this time period, it was just quantitative changes. It was just quantitative change. That means what? So let's say that your grandfather has 50 acres of land, and there was a division in family. So now it has divided between 2 sons. So that is 25 acres. It has been divided. So let's say your father further divides this land into 10 and 15, something like that. So there was only quantitative change during this time period, and he says there was no as such qualitative change. People's life still, it was same. Whatever the caste rigidity was there, it was same. The culture was same. So there was no change in people's life. If any change was there, maybe the village was becoming, the population was becoming less, or the population was becoming more. Only such quantitative changes were happening, not the qualitative change. See, this point and this point you have to write in this particular question. Okay, now after writing the pre-British, let's go to the next aspect, that is during the British time period. During British time period, what Desai believes is that British started this industries in Indian society, with industries and urbanization. So we had a new form of economic system, and that is capitalistic society or capitalistic economic system. And according to Desai, Indian society never had such, form of capitalistic society. We always had feudal, but after Britishers, we got capitalistic system. Okay. And what he believes is that because of this, it disrupted the old feudal system, whatever the old economic system was there. That is zamindar. Every, a zamindar will have some peasants for him. So whatever the relationship between them, that is a Jajmani relationship, according to Desai, it was for the first time it was disrupted. So you have to write this point. Subsequently, what are the different changes which was brought because of this system? That is, new classes was emerged during this time period. So here you can write new classes were emerged. After writing this, what you can write is you can make sub points, like 2 sub points. One is some of the rural classes, okay, some of the new rural classes which emerged, and some of the urban classes which was emerged. Just write one point, that is more than sufficient. That is proletariat class, bourgeois class, petty bourgeois, petty proletariats, these classes were emerged. Just write one statements, that is more than sufficient. And then subsequently, because of Britishers also brought certain changes in the farming industry, in the agricultural industry, and that is they brought certain land revenue system. See here, don't explain what is land revenue system, or don't even tell the 3 system of land revenue, that is Mahalwari system, Royatwari system, Zamindari system. All these don't write, just write land revenue system. And then they also brought what? Commercialization of agriculture. That is, they actually forced the Indian zamindars, they forced the Indian zamindars or agricultural laborers to grow what type of crop? To grow cash crops. Okay, instead of subsistence cropping, they actually forced the laborers to go for the cash cropping. Okay. Next, there was too much of fragmentation of land. At least during this time period, there was too much of fragmentation of land. What is the fragmentation of land? See, I was talking about the going of land from one generation to the other generation. See, during this time period, what happened? And see, that is before the British era. So there will always be one patriarch in the family. And till the time he is alive, he will take care of the whole of family. So the family rarely used to get divided, during, that is before British time period. But after British time period, what happened? We could see the disintegration of joint family. We could see coming up of nuclear family for the first time in Indian society. Why is that? Because most of the people who felt that they don't want to stay in rural area, they migrated to urban area, for the industrial job. So because of this, for the first time, there was disintegration of joint family into nuclear family. When nuclear family started to sprung up, so that is when we can see the fragmentation of land also. Did you understand? So because of land revenue system, commercialization of agriculture, as well as fragmentation of land, this actually changed the whole of Indian village social structure itself. So this point you have to write. And next, this is village area. Now come to urban area. In urban area, because of industrialization, whosoever the artisans who were there, that is handicraft artisans, they completely disappeared. Why did they disappear? See, there are multiple 2 reasons is there. One is the rulers no more, they supported the artisans, and the second thing is the handicrafts were extremely costly. People prefer to buy the machine-made goods over the handicraft goods. So because of all these things, the artisans disappeared. What did they end up as? They ended up as industrial workers. Okay, they ended up as industrial working class laborers. So this point you can write, and because of this, new urban classes emerged. That is, you can write proletariat class, or you can write the working class. Simple also you can write. See, again, explain this if you have enough space. If you don't have enough space, you don't have to explain. You can just simply drop these keywords. Evaluator will understand. Okay. Next is, this particular point is very much important, because in the pre-British era, what did I say? There was only quantitative changes which was brought during the there was only quantitative change. And according to Desai, for the first time in Indian society, qualitative changes could be seen only in the British time period. How was a qualitative change? The first and foremost thing is some of the aspects which they brought to Indian society, like railways or postal system, uniform law, or modern industries, or also abolition of certain social evils, etc., etc. So because of all these things, so there was a qualitative changes in the life of people. Okay. After writing this, see, though they brought certain qualitative change, but they were exploitative in nature. Okay, though they were good changes, but then they had a very exploitative intention, and because of this exploitative intention, it unintentionally led to the unification of Indian society. See, they also did not expect that all of Indian society will unite. Unintentionally they united, and eventually it led to what? Eventually it led to social movements, asking for rights, collective representation, as well as national sentiment. For the first time we could see in the Indian society, and eventually it gave rise to national movement. So this is his flow, okay, pre-British, British, and how it led to the national sentiment, giving rise to the national movement. Did you understand? And further what he says is that, see, he is highlighting whatever the problems of British Empire. Then he also further adds that, see, when the new India was created, so people had faith in new India, people had faith in new Indian government. But then what did Indian government do? Did it actually help the people? See, don't write about your opinion here, you only have to write what Desai is thinking. Desai thinks that government after independence, it took a repressive role. Okay, government took a repressive role. Instead of actually helping for the welfare of the people, it actually went on a repressive role, and it violated the democratic rights of women, minorities, lower caste and lower tribes. Okay, so there was development, but not for the minorities, not for the women, or not for the SC/ST, but at the cost of these section. So this point you have to write. Okay, and then further what he says, that the only solution, see, whosoever is Marxist, be it in the Western thinkers or be it Indian thinkers, finally you have to write the solution. And according to every Marxian thinkers, what is the solution? Radical transformation is the only solution. So A.R. Desai is also telling that we need to go for a radical transformation. That is completely everything has to go upside down. Completely whosoever is in the lower section, they have to take control over the society. If we do that, then only whatever the exploitative nature of capitalism will be there, whatever the exploitative nature. So there is a nexus between capitalist and state also, even after independence. So everything can be curtailed down. Then only we can see the development. Did you understand? So this is how the flow of answer should be. Pre-British, British, post-British, also the role of state, the role of Indian government, and then write down the solution which is given by A.R. Desai. Did you understand? It's a 15-marker question. I understand too much of points are there. I understand that. So what you have to do is cut down wherever further explanation is required. In some cases it is good to explain, but in such cases you don't have to explain too much. Even if you just write down the keywords, it is more than sufficient. And also please start writing your answer using the arrow mark. One keyword, arrow mark, one line explanation, that is more than sufficient. Don't go the paragraph format for such answer. If you go for the paragraph format for such answer, you won't be able to you won't be able to complete the answer. And also your answer will, if you don't complete and if you don't show the flow, then the evaluator will not be giving the full marks. So I hope you understood the whole of segment. Tomorrow I am going to start with a new chapter. Tomorrow I am thinking to start with stratification. Okay, that is paper 1 stratification. That is from Monday onwards we'll go with a stratification chapter. Okay, I'll see you all on Monday. And if you have any further queries, please drop your queries in the comment section. I'll be reading the comment section. Thank you so much.